Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Music Bar None. So, we have reached the end of season 3, and actually I want to do a little sort of nostalgic recap because I think it's quite amazing. I started this in January 2021 as Corona kind of was starting, purely as a chance to see some friends and still make some music and not go completely crazy. I think the first one was even to celebrate my birthday. I kept going throughout season 1. Then it had a season 2 where we went down to once a month, coming here with different people. A season 3, so let's see what happens next year with season 4 and 5 and 6, and maybe at some point there'll be a 10-year anniversary, and we can think back to these early days. Oh god, yeah, in the early days I have to say it was hilarious because it was live streamed and it took me about 4 episodes to even work how to get the sound and the movement together. So often people's fingers would be doing that and then the notes would be completely different, and people would, people would stop singing from orally but their mouth would still be going. But we got lovely Mark now to make sure it doesn't look quite so embarrassing. So yeah, 3 seasons. That means that there's been 28 different videos online for you to go and watch. It also means I've been standing behind this bar with over 30 different musicians. And also, I hope collectively there's at least 1,000 views going to Music Bar None once you add up the 32 and the 69 and the 112. So also spread the word. If you like this video, do pass it on to other people and we can try and get some numbers up and subscribe and do all those YouTube type things. So today is really special because very often I stand here with friends trying out a repertoire that maybe I'm interested in but I haven't got an official concert program of, and friends who I've always wanted to play with but we're not in a group together, so it's given me really a chance just to explore different people, different ways of playing, different repertoires. But every so often I have the fortune to stand here actually with a group that I'm part of. Mediva's been here, Alta Blitz has been here, and today I'm going to be standing here in a few minutes with Ensemble RESONEZ, which is a wonderful medieval ensemble. And I will let Angelique, who's kind of the director, tell us a bit more about it later on. And we're going to be doing quite early repertoire for Music Bar None. We're looking at 13th century sacred music, a mix of liturgical and devotional music from an international repertoire, but the key thing about everything today is it comes from Swiss sources. So it's really nice to see how Switzerland back in the day was very much, as it is now, still today, very kind of connected to the latest trends that were going on in Europe. So I think I've probably spoken enough. I'm going to invite Angelique and Katarina to join me, and we're going to perform the first piece.
So the first piece is called Veri Floris sub figura, and we are singing it in 2 versions. Firstly, in monophonic, which is from a manuscript from the Lausanne Cathedral. It's from 13th century, and this piece exists also as a polyphony in other sources coming from Paris, 13th century as well. And we chose the one that is from the very famous Bluteus, this manuscript that now is in Florence, but is from Paris, of course, the center of the world.
And now I'm so happy. Normally I'm sitting here playing and playing and playing, but I get a little holiday. I'm going to be entertained by the wondrous Marie, who will tell us all about what she's about to do.
Here we go. So I'm going to play a Sanctus, unconventionally on recorder. It's from a Swiss manuscript that we'll hear also other pieces from today, from the first half of the 13th century. Today it's in St. Gallen. And this is a very special Sanctus, so I'll play the original first, and then in this manuscript it's interrupted with tropes. Those are like little bits where they added text and very virtuosic music to make it even more festive.
So after this amazing piece, we're having another one from the same manuscript. It's a two-part conductus. It's talking, as all of those from this new program, which is called O Amor Deus, about a love that God shows us somehow in our lives, or at least in those beautiful pieces.
I would say time for a cocktail.
No, it's definitely time for a cocktail. You must be exhausted.
Absolutely.
This is definitely somehow a virtuosic edition of Music Bun. With how many notes you're going to just be performing. So, as most of you know, I try really hard to find or create a cocktail that really works with either the program or the people or the time of the year. But today I had a different category. The last Music Bar None, the cocktail was so strong. It was like hard alcohol and hard alcohol and hard alcohol. I had a hangover for 3 days. So my main priority was just to find a nice, easy summer afternoon, especially these are now going out much earlier. Like we used to meet at 6, and somehow drinking after 6 or 7 felt right, but we're often drinking at 2 or 4 now, so it's afternoon drinking hits differently, I have to say. So I wanted something light and summery, and I also remembered that quite a few people who are performing actually don't drink. So I also had the crazy idea to do a mocktail, which is kind of slightly outrageous, but I thought, yeah, why not? And I was Googling, and I found lots of stuff with watermelon, and I was very inspired. Then I had a crisis of consciousness. I thought Music Bar None is so off-brand to do a mocktail. I had to definitely slip in some sort of alcohol. And I remembered that we're, like, all the sources, all the music that we're doing is Swiss. So I thought, okay, I'm going to, like, discover a really typical Swiss cocktail. But the trouble is, the main sort of alcoholic thing that Switzerland is famous for is obviously absinthe. And absinthe, if you want to go for that light, chill, summer, Sunday afternoon drinking, absinthe is definitely not the right way to go. And also it sort of does taste very specific, and a lot of people don't like this taste. So I gave up on that idea. But then I kind of, last night had an idea. I could like marry these two things together. So last night I blitzed up 2 versions of watermelon. One has a lot of gin in it, and one has a lot of ginger in it. And they're the base for the cocktail. And the non-alcoholic version, the mocktail, I will be mixing that with my favourite tonic water, and it's made by a Swiss make. It's called Gents, so please sponsor me. And the alcoholic, I mean, I drink enough, really, you should see. My glass recycling is mainly like these little clear bottles. And then I'm going to mix the already alcohol-filled watermelon with some Swiss bubbles. And we can compare and contrast afterwards to see which tastes the best. So I just have to remember which glass is which. I think that was gin. I think that was non-alcoholic. So I'll do the non-alcoholic one first. And I guess I have to call it, Amor Deus has to be the name of the cocktail, no? We've created a special cocktail for this program. And, stop. Oops. Overflowing. Okay, let's put less in this one. And because I'm really fancy, I also... it's going to fail. Because I'm so fancy, I even made, instead of ice cubes, we've got little watermelon ice cubes, although I think there's no space. Untouched by human hands. Untouched. I feel like it should actually maybe have some mint as well, because this is incredibly red. It's really like the blood of Christ or something. So, hang on, that's 2 non-alcoholic ones, and then I'm just going to make some proper ones for myself and Katarina. Yeah, this is really like the moment I'm standing behind the altar turning watermelon into alcohol. So, I learned my lesson this time. A bit less. So, I think now all that mess is over, let's have a little drink, and I'm going to welcome everyone back to join me, and we're going to have a little chat. Wow. Looks really special. So, should we try
There's a special effect with the overflowing. It looks like you've arranged the rim so that it... Yeah, I don't know.
This looks like it's out of a horror film. Like it's like a 70s vampire kind of.
It looks extremely professional.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, cheers.
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 Cheers. So let's see.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Really good.
Oh, fantastic.
Very nice.
So we should get sponsoring from both.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Please. Yes. So, yes, I put a lot of ginger.
So how did you make this? Did you make the juice yourself?
I took a watermelon, put it in my NutriBullet with either gin or nothing, ginger, and then I just blitzed it up. And
There is ginger in
really
both.
good.
no, one's got gin and one's got ginger.
You have the good choice.
Maybe
Lots
later.
of work
Maybe
joke.
later I can do a mix and match to get the benefit of both. Yes, and everyone sitting there, please help. Do you want to have a top up of prosecco so you at least join in? Actually, I'm going to do that just because the song that comes afterwards you will really need some prosecco to drink.
Oh, really? Will be overflowing like cocktails. What's the drinks where you put sugar on the rim?
Oh yeah,
With
like
tequila,
margarita
right?
things.
It
Yeah,
looks a bit
it
like
is
that.
like that. Yes.
Even I have white on top of this cube.
I'm quite jealous now that I didn't fuck up on these ones. So. Anyway, back to the topic. So we're here to so that you guys can get to know, or the musicians also know a bit more about what we've actually been doing and what this, the context of this music. Even the television's good. Anyway, Angelique, you came up with this concept of Amor Deus, and I know there's a beautiful, beautiful initial story to what inspired you to put together this program. So.
Yes, actually, before I moved to Switzerland, which is not, it was 2019, I was in a production where singers, non-professional ones, but really nice women's ensemble were singing a three-part Agnus Dei, and I found out that it's from a monastery in Fribourg, La Mégorge, and I thought, wow, incredible. And when I next time came there, actually first time of my life, I went there and I had phoned before, and there was this Sœur Gertrude waiting for me already with a copy, photo, color of the two original pieces of this manuscript. And the incredible thing is that it's still in the place where it was copied, handwritten in the 13th century. And they
Which
are
is
still
incredibly
there.
rare, because most of them end up in sort of
Yeah, yeah.
libraries in
Because of
Paris or London.
in France, because of revolution, I think there is no place where there are still nuns or monks living and praying and having their manuscripts. They're always, I think, in libraries and
And so they have a whole manuscript, but two pieces don't exist anywhere else.
They have several manuscripts, but this one is probably the most famous one. At the time, I was like, it doesn't exist anywhere else, but actually it is online.
Oh.
So you can see it with a high definition, etc. But yes, they are supposed to be unique, the two of them, at least in this exact setting. So I was really happy to have this and then I wanted to use the Swiss sources and also to go to those places and to give the music in the churches where they come from. So that's
Lovely.
what we are going
Such
to do.
a lovely concept. Well done, thank you. Thank you. And I think, it just also shows the level of kind of research and detective work that you just always have to do as a medieval musician. It's part of the fun of being a medieval musician. And I know that both Marie and Katarina are really strong on this research side of things. But interestingly, and so now they really, you're both performers and researchers, but you've both come from the other way round. Marie, you really trained as a recorder player and a musician, and then you sort of got, I guess, more and more interested in the historical research side of things, and in a way you were the opposite way around. Yes,
just historical
so
circumstances.
I find that really fascinating. Now you've sort of reached the same point but from different sides. Discuss. Because I can't quite think of an actual question to ask based on that concept.
Well, we come from different countries where the tradition of singing, doing early music, as early as medieval even, is not on the same level, basically, to start with, I would say. So, basically, I didn't even know many things about early music performance when I started musicology, or even there is not so much stress on it in our curriculum at the university, just because 19th and 20th centuries they are done on much higher levels. So
Where did you study?
in Slovenia.
Oh.
So it was like, for me at least, I don't know how you see it, but if you don't have a living connection to the living practice, or hearing that music live, it's kind of more difficult to find your way into it
So
than
then
not.
how did you do it? What was your first contact, or what really took you down the rabbit hole of early music if you haven't, if coming from that environment?
To be honest, just some random things that you heard or saw, or just on CDs maybe, that already existed, and things like this. But when you heard something and it was really crazy and wow for you, maybe not wow for 10,000 other people,
Okay,
but
so
for
it touches
yeah.
you like, wow, what is this? Yeah.
And I was really lucky. I studied literature and musicology, and I did a master's degree in both, in the 18th century things like Bach and Friedrich Schiller. So basically I thought I would be staying in the 18th century, which was really cool. But then I was invited to do this research thing at my institute, where I'm also doing a research now, and it was in medieval chant in the Carthusians. I did not know anything about
So
them.
that was really just a random, come and work on this project, not that you were a specialist already.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
and then you were...
so I was thrown into the world of chant. I had to do a lot of research for myself, and I got a scholarship to go to Graz, where they had a nice schola. And when I started doing Gregorian chant live, that was, I think, for me wow, this music is alive. It says so many things, and it has so much to offer and to tell, and there is a rhetoric on such a high level, because in my heart I'm still, a literary person of, so the text has to be alive.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It shows how you can land somewhere accidentally, but then really learn to love this music. And it doesn't mean that if you don't know something yet, that it doesn't mean you shouldn't get to know it. And you know what? For me, it's the CDs as well, in the end. When I was a teenager and I had recorder classes, at some point someone in my family gave me the solo recorder CD from Pieramont, which has mostly medieval music and estampes, and that's where I heard them the first time, and I was sold. I told my recorder teacher, please bring me this music, and I think it took him 3 months to finally deliver, because he kept forgetting, and maybe he didn't know where to find it, I don't know. But eventually he showed up with the estampes, and basically from then I played Vivaldi concertos in estampes, and I don't know, I was 15, 16, and I was totally sold, and then I went to study recorder and discovered that nobody knows anything about medieval music at this conservatory in Leuven where I was, so that's what pushed me to go beyond the boundaries, and I ended up trusting in Germany and in Basel, and then I discovered that I just really need to know more, and that I love doing research and trying to find answers to these questions that nobody can answer, and that's what brought me then to musicology.
Yes, I love it. We have a friend called Lisa, and she always talks about it's like the Indiana Jones effect. Yes. It's like you put on your hand and you go searching for the answers amongst them.
And
it would be nice to have a cool hat. It would be nice to have one.
And it's so amazing. I mean, doing medieval music, it's almost 1,000 years of music, and there's so much music that has never been recorded yet. You can really dive into manuscripts and discover new things. And it's very satisfying.
Yes, I agree. Oh, it's really interesting to hear. Yes. And what about you? How did you sort of fall into medieval music?
I was a classical singer, actually. But I had a friend who had been for long years in Venance Fortuna, this French ensemble, which was one of the first kind of medieval ensembles, and she had planned for a long time to have her own ensemble. And when she founded it, it's cum jubilo, she asked me. So she took me there. And then I also had a moment where I said, how could I make my own programs? I have to know more about this. And then I heard about the Sorbonne curriculum, this course with brilliant musicians. Benjamin Bachby, Katarina, who now is in Basel also. And I went there and I was like, wow, okay. But I'm not sure I'm so much Indiana Jones. Because I really need the practice. I really need then to put something in it that's just in me, and that's not about knowledge. And I forget it very quickly, especially everything that's historic. My brain doesn't get it.
Yes.
In a way. So it's always like rediscovering and reinterpreting, and I think that's also quite important in our music.
This is what makes it alive anyway.
Yes. And it's true, I think that is the downside of if you do go to Indiana Jones on stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're so busy being historically correct and knowing sources and knowing things, it becomes very brainy, and you can be accused of like losing connection to actually just making music. And I have to say, it's one thing I really love about this ensemble. I feel, Angelique, you really managed to sort of combine a very sort of a scholarly approach. Like, it's really important that we know the sources. We as people at home will have seen the manuscripts that we've been performing from, and I'm going to hand this out to the audience in a minute just so you can be really impressed, because it's quite hardcore even for a medievalist. So there's always this side, but then that's really just a basis, and then actually once we rehearse, it's all about delivering the text and the flow in the music and what it means and how it can come across, and it's a very
and at the end we are touched by this,
yes,
by the text, by the beauty of the musical line and these things. So Indiana Jones is just the start, and then the real thing comes.
It's one aspect of it.
Yes.
It's like it's a full package. You can.
Yes. So instead of like discovering the ark and it just gets pushed in the museum at the end of the first song, we discover the ark, and then we actually like have a party to share it.
Absolutely.
And just one last thing, I'm learning so much by being in this ensemble, especially because in this program we are being quite hardcore and actually putting the right pronunciation of the Latin to all the different texts according to where they came from. So I don't know if you want to say a few words about that.
I'm a little bit like Katarina. I'm very touched by the words, by their meaning, but also by their material. I'd say that it's like a texture. So you also have to reinvent this, because there are treaties and there are real incredible specialists who have read all the texts and know then how it was pronounced and where, and also at what time, so how the language evolved. And so we try just to take those informations, but we have to re-put it in our bodies. And that's really a sensual work, actually, because you have to compare. So if I use this vowel more because they say it was more closed, so the other vowel also must be somewhere near, etc. So it's really like, that's Indiana Jones, but in a more physical way.
Pilates.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in this program we have, maybe you will find out actually. Because for the moment we had only texts that came from this Lausanne manuscript. But now, after the nice cocktail, we'll go to another one which is from Basel, which is copied and used in Basel, which was. And in several, there are manuscripts from 13th, 14th at least, but we use one from 16th century. And it's from those Basel sources that we know that actually the poem and the music apparently was written by Philippe le Chancelier. So, and when I see those names, I go, Marie, could you tell me, please, who was that guy? And then Marie knows everything or goes on Google because she is this.
But I'm not a singer, so I don't do the whole text thing, and that brings some funny situations when we rehearse. So the other day I was saying like, oh, can we start again at Quicum? And Angelique goes, what do you mean? Oh, Quicon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really remarkable how much work that is into. It's a. I recommend that for everyone who's afraid of getting Alzheimer's. It's you see the text written in the same way, but you pronounce it in a French or in a German way, and it's an amazing brain exercise. Yeah.
I'll take your advice.
So, therefore, I think maybe we should demonstrate what we're talking about and go on to the next piece. I'm just going to do some housekeeping here. I'll do this here. And
so actually, although it's the poem and the music has French source, because it was written by Philippe le Chancelier, we chose to sing it in the German pronunciation of the Latin of that time, which anyway is a different Latin from the one you have learned in school. And it's very beautiful, it's very poetic, and it's quite complex. We try to find out exactly what it means and to give it
I'm just going to go for my music one second.
the variety that is in it.
Yeah, because it's 4 pages. So
we can put it together.
I'm not 100% sure I copied out every single page. It's 4 pages long.
Shall we inform them about the link? And shall we inform them about the link?
Yeah, totally. I'm going to do that. So, yes, as the people sitting there have seen, and as you guys will see in a minute, it's very, very dense, and it goes on for 4 pages, and it's all just monophonic chant, which means it's quite long. So settle down, top yourself up, get some crisps, get your energy ready, and kind of allow yourself to go into, a meditative trance as we go through this. And I'm going to be really brave and do it all even just from the text as well as Angelique. So there might be a moment where we go off-piste and have to see what happens. Societas, Nexus, Emanitio.
summi boni laetitia, tu sitiens satietas, in te plena felicitas, ex cuius influentia, sunt vivunt vigent omnia, o amor universitas, tu sapor in familis, fons debrians cor gratis, mei missum erge satis, eada gratis, columinissim similis, o amor veni nobilis. Tu est circumferentia, centrum cui propositio, los innegat obsequia, alpha et o et untio, virtus in omni medio. Tu gratia pro gratia, quolamquam desideria, tuique sine socio, iocunda et possessio, o amor amens omnia. Tu genus es in genesi, moralibus si placeat, lux arca fons diluviis, se mare rubrum prebeat, profundum me absorbeat. Ducat progressus exodi, columna viga Moesi, mitera melis habeat, virtus ilie proveat, sacro jugam sinderesi, o amor veni et Eloi. O amor et sublimitas, me transferat sublimia, cui vita liberalitas, nec non omnipotentia, tu vera sapientia. Rex et legales pietas, tu semper viges novitas, nova me reple gratia, tibi sit laus et gloria, o amor Deus editas. Amen, 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 amen.
I'm like throwing my paper up in the air now. Yes, success.
So I understand why they asked me to play something instrumental now after such a monumental piece. We wanted to have music from Swiss sources in this program, but there isn't really instrumental music from the time, which is why I played a Sanctus before. And for the next piece, I got creative myself. I made a little estampille based on two pieces from Swiss sources from the 13th century. But it's also inspired by other instrumental pieces of the time, so it's a bit of a mix. And it's called Estampille Spiritus. If you want to know more about that, ask me afterwards. back to singing. Have you recovered?
And every piece seems so short. Every piece is so short compared to a 12-minute chant.
Yeah, I think it was 3.5 minutes. I'll play it twice next time.
So, yeah, this is like the end of today's Music by None, but we'll be doing the full program in various moments in autumn, and there's one close to Basel in case you guys want to come. It's in Rien on the 21st of October. And you can check out the Ensemble RESONEZ website to also know when other concerts are in case you live near Geneva or Lausanne or other places.
Actually, to get the information, you have to go to the Ars Vivendi Life as Art homepage, which is avla, avlaa.ch.
I'll put a link in the description, and well, we will see each other anyway
Then you have all.
before the autumn. Okay, so last piece. Oh, this is when you hear the beautiful French. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't need this one.
No.
I've got a real.
Take mine out, please.
Yes, definitely.
Deus
It's not.
No.
It's not. Interesting. We did rehearse. Anyway, yes, thank you so much for. Oh yeah, actually, okay, thank you so much for coming, guys, and thank you very much for watching. Thanks as ever, Mark, for all your wonderful work. And thanks, guys, for coming to be part of the Music Barn on craziness. And I'm looking forward to these concerts in autumn.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, that's a real opportunity. It's so good for us.
Thank you. Yes.
And it's been tremendous fun.
Good. And that's the main thing. So let's just do a final clapping, final bow. We go off and then we can drink.